welcome to a non-live top 10 of the Dice Tower.
Back to normal.
There's no crowd?
No crowd.
Should I laugh?
Laugh track.
I shall laugh track. I'll add that right now. All right. Okay. Anyway, folks, we're here to talk about board games, and we are often accused of being cult of the new, where we like the newest stuff that comes out. But I think I can go on record by saying there's a reason for that, because old stuff is pretty much garbagey.
Yeah. I'm right there with you.
Okay, no, it's not that bad, but really, this is what today's list is. It's our top 10 old games, or games that are 20 years old or older. So we went back to 93, anything from 93 and before. And if we had gone to 92 and before, I think we would have cut off half of our lists.
Better flip this over if people will take a screenshot.
Oh, they'll take a screenshot?
Yeah, they will.
Wait. Okay, but anyhow. Well, I'm just trying to... Okay, but we went back and took the top 10 games from... 1993 and before. And for me, it was harder than I thought.
It was really hard.
Did you guys have that too? I mean, I talked to him a little bit about it.
A lot of junk.
I know you told me, I didn't have that hard of a time originally when you first said, I gathered a good amount of games. And I was thinking... I might be able to put together a top 15, and then after that, I'm lying to you.
Well, no, okay. I could have put together a top 20, I think, if I had to. But to put together 10 games per year like we do now, like 2012, it was easy to put together a top 10.
Yes.
And 20, 30 from 2012. But here we are in a time period of 93 till the beginning of time.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Although, we didn't put any games that were made before 1900.
I did.
Did you?
I have one.
I don't think I did.
Before 1900? Oh, yeah, okay, that's right. You do have one. And it's not Go, though.
It's not Go. We just lost like 15. The funny thing is, I was thinking about it, and I wanted to ask you guys about this, because you had told me, and Sam, I wasn't sure, but now he's telling me he also had a hard time. If we had gone 1 year forward, 1994 would have made like half my list would have come from 1994.
I didn't look at it, but I can see that happening, because there were only a couple of games that were on my list that were, early 1900s. The rest were right up in the
60s and up.
Yeah.
There's at least 2 games that are on our lists that are from 93. Maybe 3.
I have a
and then, yeah. But that doesn't mean all old games are bad, but it does mean that we've really progressed a lot.
Right.
I think if anybody had a question about are there better games coming out each year than not, yes. Absolutely.
Anyone who tells you otherwise really is kind of lost in the past. They're the same people who say, when I was a kid, things were so much better.
I'd walk to school uphill both ways.
And then you pull out...
I loved it!
We just took it.
We loved it!
Let's go on to number 10. Are we ready?
Yes.
Here we go.
Number 10.
All right, my number 10 is a game that I just got through kind of making fun of.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
But again, let's reiterate, these are the top 10 games from that are 20 years and older.
He's saying if he had...
I just think it's funny. It's the first comment we're going to get on this video.
I know, right?
Sam doesn't know how to make up his mind. So flim-flam.
I know, right? But, okay, so let's just make sure we understand. This is 20 years and older. There's 20 years is a long time for a lot of good games.
Well, this game is 36 years old.
Well, there you have it. My
All right.
number 10, Cosmic Encounter. It's higher on somebody else's list. Go figure.
All right. My number 10 is a game that really caught my attention when I was a young teenager, or tween even, and it's somewhere higher on someone else's list, and that's
Weird.
Fortress America.
Oh, he's a tween.
Oh, come on. Tween is now common accepted
It's a tween.
vernacular. All right. Go ahead.
Okay.
Maybe in a house full of girls, it's accepted.
There's a clue, Sherlock. Okay, my number 10 is Can't Stop. Great six-action game. It's total classic. We don't have it here.
Yeah, because it's that good.
There's a screen now.
Wow.
I just gave you work.
Oh, thanks.
It's a great dice rolling push your luck game. It's very simple, very streamlined, but that game goes over well with almost everybody. It's just so... It's almost effortlessly made. You know what I mean? Like, it almost makes you feel like, why didn't I design this? It has that timeless feel to it. And I think it's a great game.
I'm kind of waffly on it. I mean, I like it, but I think that Exit game from Knizia is a better game.
Escape.
Escape, sorry.
Same thing.
I think they should have named that game Please Stop.
Yeah, well, that's one of those games that when you bring it out and people are like, I can. Like, yeah, we get it. We get it.
Yeah, it's the pun is it's so funny.
Moving on to 9.
Then you pull out, you suck.
Number 9.
All right, my number 9. This is the second time I get to go first. Yeah.
Marginalized, that's all.
Holla.
Can you just tell us what the number 9
Queen and holla? What
Yeah,
is going
holla.
on?
Just give us the game.
I'm gonna have to add a bomb here later. All right.
All right, my number 9 is higher on somebody else's list. It is Survive Escape from Atlantis.
All right. My number 9 is You're Bluffing, which does not come in this funky little purple team. Cute. You're Bluffing is a card game. I want to say it's from 1985-ish or so, in which you are bidding for animals, trying to make sets of animals, and once you get all 4 of the same kind of animal, you can score those. The more sets you have, the better your score. But the other thing you can do is if you have an animal and someone else has an animal, you can make them an offer for theirs, but it's blind. They don't know what they're getting. And they can accept it blind, or they can make you a counter offer, and you switch money, and whoever offered the most takes the animal from the other person. Really neat, bluffing, double thinking kind of game. I think this holds up really well. I play with a variant these days, which I think actually a lot of people play with, which is you auction off 2 animals at a time instead of 1, because otherwise it draws the game out a little bit. And that works well.
I've never played that. I was in a game with Sam one time where we played with this older gentleman who he never played board games before, but or at least he played like this cribbage or something that he played all the time, and not this. So we taught him this game, and he just thrived on it. He loved the fact that he could just lie the entire game.
Yeah. It's a really neat game. I like this a lot. This is even if you remove the time limitation, I think this is an excellent game.
I'm actually surprised it's not still in print.
Isn't it?
Not that I know of, but it should be.
Yeah.
This would have been my number 12 or so. It's a very good game.
Yep.
My number 9 is, I don't have it here because, well, apparently the number 9 game of the 20 years ago and older isn't good enough to be in my collection. But, well, no, I mean, I only have so much room. But it's still a great game. That's Hare and Tortoise. Although I'm pretty sure Sam hates it.
Sam, you
I'm
hate it?
feeling it. Hare and Tortoise is called Math, the game, because basically you're running these rabbits. Have you played it? And you you have to get rid of a certain number of carrots to move, but the farther you move, exponentially the number of carrots you have to spend, and you move backwards to get carrots. So it's this kind of mathy. Okay, how many carrots do I need to spend to move back? I think that's fascinating, and I think it's a good educational style game, although I can certainly see why it's not everyone's cup of tea. I'm saying that now before you trash it. See, I already said everything you were going to say.
It's not my cup of tea.
Now he's going classy.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's our number 9. My number 9, Hare and Tortoise.
Number 8.
My number 9 is a game I wish I had because, well, I don't know. I don't know if I would still have this one,
I
but
don't think you would.
here's the deal. This game made such an impression on me as a kid. I loved playing it. To me, it's been firmly replaced by Descent and mostly by Descent, and that's Hero Quest. Yeah, there's also Warhammer Quest and all these other games, but Hero Quest, I still remember as a kid thinking, this is awesome. That I can move my figure around and see these skeletons. I had heard about role-playing games, but here was one where you actually saw everything.
Not just a kid. We played that in college, man. You had a copy in college.
Sure, kids. Yeah, I did. Because it was cool. I found it at a thrift store for $2.
Right.
And it was just like, oh, wow. Nowadays, that's very... And not only is the game itself rare, but the expansions are just mind-bogglingly super rare. Mind-bogglingly...
Boggling.
Boggling.
A Boggle is a game that made none of our lists.
No, it is probably old enough.
It is. But anyhow, just the idea of moving around. The box was full of plastic it's almost hard to imagine a game company like Hasbro, or it was Parker Brothers, I guess, making a game like this now.
Yes, yes.
Although HeroScape came close to giving that same feeling of the opening a box of plastic. I don't know. I thought it was really fun, but really the set does what it does better. But for a kid, there was nothing like opening that box and playing it. It had to make my list on nostalgia alone.
And for its time, too, that's impressive.
Back in the day, Hero Quest was awesome. So,
All right, that's me. We're looking at 8. Are we on 8? We're on 8. Number 8 for me is...
a deck of cards?
Deck of cards.
Boring!
No, it's actually poker.
Oh, poker. Oh, hang on.
Is that your poker face?
I'm trying.
That's awful. What was that?
I'm not even.
Can I put on dark glasses and
Yeah.
my jacket up?
You put the...
I can't believe you included this on the list.
Poker is an excellent game.
I cannot believe you included this on the
And I'm talking mostly about Texas Hold'em. I've played a few varieties, but Texas Hold'em I still think I like
But is
the
Texas Hold'em 20 years old?
best. Yes. Yeah, it's past
Are you sure?
from the 1800s, yeah.
Texas?
Texas Hold'em.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that version of poker is quite old.
I saw it in the movie.
Wrong, correct me.
I saw it in the movies. I never seen
they
Texas
will.
Hold'em.
Anyway, Texas Hold'em. Poker, Texas Hold'em. I think it's a great game. I think it's completely valid to include it on the list.
Okay.
No, I think it's valid. He's the one giving you
don't.
garbage.
You don't think it's a good game, or you don't think it's
Same reason we didn't include chess, checkers.
because I don't enjoy those.
No, but still.
Okay, if you had to pick a game from a deck of cards to put on the list, what would you put on?
From a deck of cards.
Oh, actually, you have a cardish game on your list coming up.
I do have a cardish game on my list. That's
Okay.
fine. I'm not worried about that.
But if you had to pick one with a regular deck of cards, what would you pick? I would pick hearts. I really like hearts.
I would, spades or hearts, something like that. Loads more fun than poker.
I like poker. I like poker more.
This is why Z's walking home, because he lost his car the other day. All right, what's your number 8?
Wow, you just threw me under the no segue or anything. Okay.
Well, no, you actually have the copy to show people.
My number 8 is a game that we've also talked about. Probably one of those games that I think it was you don't play with angry people.
Yes.
Yes,
So, but it's a very fun game called Lifeboats where you're trying to make it to shore, quite literally, and you can be bounced around from boat to boat, and you can be voted out of boats, and all of this other kind of stuff. And it's just you're struggling to make it to shore, score the most points. It's a really fun game. It has good components, great components, and it was definitely made my short list, 15, and then from the 15 that I picked, I couldn't not include it.
Yeah, that made my short list definitely top 15 for sure. I think it's a good game. Just the other 10 just happen to give me more joy. I don't like the fact that when you explain this game, you have to say boat and vote all the time.
Really?
Oh,
Boat and vote?
it's annoying.
Really?
Yeah. So you vote people off the boat, and then when you vote the boat,
Oh, come on.
vote,
I never even...
vote the boat, baby, vote the boat. Don't keep the vote voting.
Okay, we're not gonna be able to play this game ever again because that's gonna be a YouTube sensation right there. All right,
I'm coming.
moving on to number
It's
7.
gonna be on a loop.
Number 7.
All right, my number 7 is Hoity Toity.
No.
The one I have here.
Say that name.
Adelver Frischtet.
You know what? As weird as that sounds, I still think that's a better name than Hoity Toity.
Hoity Toity is a bad name. By
right.
hook or by crook was another name, and that was better.
Verflichtlet.
Yeah,
Wow,
Adelver Frischtet. Anyway,
you gotta be careful saying that name.
Well, yeah, but would you rather say Hoity Toity? Today, folks, we're gonna play Hoity Toity.
Or we could just say we're gonna play this game here.
Sit down. Sit.
Now, this game did very well in Germany when it came out.
It did, and this is from the same designer as Settlers a few years earlier. It's a great double think card game. You are collecting sets of cards. You're trying to make a run. The cards are lettered. You're trying to make the longest run and play face down cards simultaneously at the right time. You're trying to figure out where people are going on the board, and you want to go elsewhere. That's basically the game. It's a really straightforward game. This was from that time when European games were still being designed in a really clean way. Like, the game is extremely clean and straightforward, you know?
Right.
What he
I feel
means
like
is it
now-
wasn't maximum optimization.
Yeah, I feel like now these games are pretty rare. You know, these games now are. This would have like 6 other mechanisms and other systems and all sorts of crazy stuff. But this is a really neat game, and I got it from a friend actually. So
me-
thank you, Will.
For me, this game kind of has faded over the years. I liked it when it first came out. As time goes by, I played it with some groups who really hated the whole idea of the bluffing and all the different things involved.
Right.
And
Because
so,
that double thing, like, oh, I picked wrong again.
yeah.
You can only take so many bluffing games. You can only palette so many at a time, I guess.
Well, to be fair, though, this was one of the first ones.
I understand that.
All right.
Yeah.
My number 7 is Acquire. Acquire is a classic game. I'm actually kind of surprised it didn't hit either of your lists, although you might hate it, if I recall.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Maybe top 20.
It's okay on my list. I knew you were going to put it. So
Meta listing.
no, it's not that. It's just that I don't like it that much. I enjoy playing it, but it's not top 10 material.
Yeah, it would've been-
Okay, well,
18 or 20.
I actually like Union Pacific better, and then I like the new Airlines Europe, which I thought did the whole thing in a very clean way. But Acquire still, for when it came out in the 60s, I believe,
Yes.
was like this phenomenon, really, that a game was designed by an American that was really that good. And it brings the stock market, and most stock market games that came out in the 60s, 70s, and 80s are these convoluted affairs where you're writing down numbers and looking at charts. Acquire, you just traded in shares and
too real.
yeah,
They were too real.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Abstracted it out a little.
Again, it was Sid Saxon ahead of his time doing the European style thing, like I was just talking about.
Sid Saxon is the Jules Verne of the board game world.
He kind of was, yeah. Absolutely.
So that's my number 7, Acquire.
All right, my number 7 is a game that I have enjoyed much, and that is
It's been shot! It's been shot! It's been shot again!
Family Business, game where you're the lead member in a gang in New York or whatever city, Chicago maybe, and you're trying to be the last gang standing, and you can knock off people and the other gangs and whack them. Yeah, it's all real good. It's full of theme. It is just a card game. I think the theme comes out a little bit more in the camaraderie around the table than it actually does in the game itself.
Sure.
But a lot of fun. Have had a great time with it over the years. Family Business.
Number 6.
Now, my number 6 here, Demacher, if I was just randomly let's say I was at a game gathering and you'd never heard of this game and I said, let's play Demacher, a 4-hour game about the German election, probably I would then see the back of you as you were, sprinting for the door, because that sounds really boring. But the game itself is really a good game. It's not boring. I've never been so fascinated by such a long Euro game, I think. And I think part of it is because it's fairly vicious. I mean, there's a lot of fighting back and forth as elections, because elections are, but partially because the way German elections are structured is so weird for me as an American, because it's very different than our two-party system. And so I kind of find that fascinating, to see a different kind of election rather than, whoever gets the most votes wins, or the Electoral College again. This is something completely different. And then there's the different issues, and you can argue over the square tomatoes. I don't know what it stood for, genetic engineering or whatever. But I don't know. I mean, it's not a game that I play often, tons, but I think it's a very solid game.
It's definitely a solid game, and I gave it a nod as I was making my list. But this is one of those games where the 4-hour time limit really kills it for me, because, with Twilight Imperium, I can play for 6 hours because its theme is immersive and I'm in it and I'm doing all of this stuff and I feel like I've invested. This one, oh man, you've got to play with the right group of people that are excited about the game. If you're just talking about, maximizing the strategies and mechanics of the game, it can just get really boring for me.
Well, I actually haven't played.
You don't play games over 3 hours.
I'm not going to play. But I don't know. I kind of get the vibe that this game is on your list more out of respect for the design than you're like wanting to still play it. You don't feel that way?
I don't know. It's still on my shelf, which is a big deal.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
You know, I played it in the last 6 months, and I'm kind of eager to play it again. It's just finding the time. It drives me nuts. That's if it.
That's,
You know,
that's a valid choice.
You were saying that before. We were talking about it, where you've been wanting to bring it to the game.
I think I said like a few months ago. I said, "Hey, you want to play Democker?" And everyone was like, And I was like, "All right, fine. Let's play something else." And that was about the extent of it.
It's just a lot of time, and for me, there's just not enough excitement there for it.
All right, fair enough.
All right, my number 6 is Axis and Allies. Not basically the D-Day version that I have here, but Axis and Allies in general. Playing this as a kid, growing up, played it in high school, played it in college, still played every once in a while with my kids. This is just wow to me as far as games are concerned. I have so many memories playing Axis and Allies.
Right.
And when we thought about making this list, this was one of the first ones that came into my mind because I've just had that much fun with it over the years. Do I think that some games do, the whole war simulation better nowadays? Yeah, I do. But for this, back then, cream of the crop.
So what's your view on this versus Risk?
I like this game system better than...
Oh, yeah.
I like this combat system better than Risk.
Although I will say that I'd rather play one of the newer Risk variants than the original Axis and Allies.
Yeah.
However, there's so many Axis and Allies out nowadays, I can't even keep track of them all. There's D-Day and Guadalcanal and Battle of the Bulge, and then there was 1941 and 1939, and it got so confusing.
You can really kind of hone in on your specific with Axis and Allies.
That's true.
Axis and Allies beat out Risk for me. I had both of them on my short list, and I crossed off Risk for this.
Gotcha.
So.
Cool.
All right.
All right. My choice is Survive. Survive, Escape from Atlantis is obviously being the recent reprint from Stronghold.
It's Sam's number 9.
My number 9.
Sam's number 9, all right. It's a great, kind of mean family game.
Very mean.
Yeah, I know.
it's like,
I've seen kids cry.
I think that used to be less of a taboo 20 years ago. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like a family game, and the actions are, I just killed half your people. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it used to
When we were kids, we weren't coddled like today.
So, this was a pretty obvious choice. I easily knew this was going to make my list.
Yeah.
It's just a really good system.
I'm just glad that you could find the game now. For the longest time, it was
great
it was hard to. They did a really good job.
Yeah.
First time I actually played the game, it was via Flash on my computer, and and then when this was kind of redone, what about 10, 15 years ago, I think.
No. It's only been like 5.
Atlantis versus Survive, or you mean?
No.
Because it used to be 2 things:
Right.
Survive, and then Atlantis. And now this is like one game, Atlantis.
I'm
Survive.
totally confused.
I am too.
This came out like 3 or 4 years ago. It's not been that long actually.
No, this is a revamp.
Yeah.
Right. The original one came out like 20 years ago plus.
We played this in Korea. I know we did. We played this in Korea. It was a not as nice version as this one.
Wow.
So it was an old one.
Maybe it was an older one then.
And that was about 10 years ago that we played it. And I said, this is the Flash game that I've played. I used to play it like on my lunch break at school on my computer. And when we played it, I was like, oh, this is cool. So, but now they've reprinted and it's easy to come by now.
Yeah, I think it's a good balance between being really thematic and having clean mechanics.
Right.
Something that still eluded a lot of designers a long time ago.
Yeah, and it's very nasty.
All right. Stuff to move on.
Number 5.
All right, my number 6
Rex.
or 5 is
Brand new.
What are you talking about?
You're wrong.
Rex is a reprint of Dune, and I no longer have Dune because Rex was nicer looking than Dune. And I know I know as soon as I show this game, there's people out there going,
Not the same.
Dune was the only thing this game. Okay, fine. I get it. You don't like the new re-theme. I do. Whatever. But the fact of the matter is that Dune was a really cool game. It was made by the designers of Cosmic Encounter, one of my favorite games. They did a trilogy of games: Dune, Cosmic Encounter, and Borderlands, which has now been reprinted as Gear World. You will not see Borderlands in my top 300. Well, that's just the way it is.
That's a little preview.
But
Upcoming review.
Tune in next week, folks.
But Dune itself it's a little long. You know, it can go anywhere from, I mean, it could be short, an hour and a half, to 6 hours. It's so, because you never know when the game's going to end. But the powers, and each player had a very specific different power, and it was so thematic the whole way through. Who's going to betray who and when? Who's going to form alliances? The combat was a neat system. I'm a big fan of dice combat. This was diceless combat, and I liked it. Because you sent as many troops as you want, but you lost them. So you know, if you committed all of them, you could be guaranteed of winning the battle, but then they were all dead.
Yeah.
And it was just a neat system. So that is a game I enjoyed.
Yeah,
Dune.
Dune, I really like. One of my biggest gripes with it is the fact that the length was so variable. The game might end half the way there,
before you
and
even get into it.
Yeah. So that was an issue I had. And I've never actually played this, but Dune, it's a good game. It made my.
I actually think this brings the time down. Now, what does the box say here?
Well, they're lying.
This says 2 to 3 hours, so it's about 2 to 4 hours actually now.
Lie.
No, all companies lie about the time lengths of games. All right, what is your number? Who wants to go first?
Okay, well we'll go together. How's that?
Let's do it.
We'll go together. Bam, bam.
I don't have special effects, guys. Okay.
Formula D. Or Formula Day, as
Wait, this says D.
Yes, that's true. This is the reworked version from Asmodee, and did a really good job on reworking it. But system is still awesome. They didn't really change much of the system at all.
Not too much.
I mean, they added the little street racing variant to it, but I think Formula Day had that as well.
No, it didn't have the street racing, but
didn't? Okay.
that's a minor change. The biggest change they made in this was basically just function, component quality.
Yeah,
Oh,
the little
yeah.
tray
Moving
with
the stuff.
gear stick.
Okay, but I'm talking about mechanics.
Not really, I don't
the
think
game
they-
is still the same. It's just that they made it look better and add the little street racing.
Right, it's so much the same that you can use all the old maps.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, I think this was a home run. I mean, grand slam.
This game
from
is
back
amazing.
in the day.
This is such a good racing game, and it holds up so well. You could pull this off the shelf today and show it to someone, and they would not be able to tell you this game's more than a year old.
Right.
It just does not age. This game has not aged a day.
Yeah, I remember playing racing games that tried to mimic the reality of racing so much that it just sapped all the fun out of it. This one mimics racing reality, I think, to a certain abstracted level,
It's a good balance.
and it's still really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this. I mean, obviously, this is Formula D, but Formula Day was uglier
Are you
because
in
it
a
was
hurry,
older.
sir?
But
No, he was waving. I was waving too.
stuff.
All right, Formula D. Day.
Number 4.
All right, number 4 for us is all card games. For me, mine's a little higher on someone else's list, so I'm actually going to mention it when we get to that point. But here's a clue. It's a card game. All right.
Okay, my number 4, Trumpet. Trick-taking game. This came out, I think, in 93. I think this is one of the ones that came out in 93. Which we were talking about at the beginning of the video. It's a really good trick-taking game. It's funny because it plays with trump, and that's hence the play on word trumpet. Where every suit, eventually, during the game, there's a track on which you move up, and as you pass certain spaces on that track, you select a new trump, and you push the old trump back. But it does not go away as a trump. It's now a second trump. So eventually, all the cards are powered, basically. They all trump. So the top card will trump everything, and this will trump the rest of them. It's really neat.
That sounds like a headache.
It actually plays really simple. It doesn't.
Well, you're just
not
like
clutch.
ranking the suits in sense.
Getcha.
Yeah.
By the way, this is Game of the Year for 91, so
Oh, okay, 91. Okay.
you know nothing about games. How can
Shame.
you be on this show?
Cool. All right, so trumpet, very cool stuff.
And your card game.
My card game is one that I played relentlessly in college.
Holler!
And it has been.
Oh, testify is what I meant. Testify.
Since then, sporadically, yet not so sporadic that it has left my memory.
What was he talking about?
I have no idea.
Okay, say the name.
Rook.
Yeah.
Rook. Rook's trick-taking game, where it's pretty much, you know,
Let me help you out.
the person who wins. No, it's not. No.
Actually, couldn't you use a regular deck of cards
Yes,
for Rook?
You
I'm just giving you a visual. Go ahead.
could.
You take a
course you
Joker
It's
and
not a visual. You could, but you don't
course.
use all the cards.
No, it's true, but
You don't use all the cards.
Whatever.
You can use a deck of cards, yeah, but you don't use all of them. Or you can just go and spend $5 at Walmart and buy a
This
Rook
will be
deck.
Yeah.
this will be another. We'll do a topic theme show one day. Is it worth buying a game when you could just do it with a deck of
that's
cards?
cool.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway. Sorry.
Anyway, don't have to do that list.
Go ahead. You got your Rook. Go
I'm
ahead.
done. You guys.
I think Rook is a good choice, actually.
I'm gonna
I
punch
think
you in the
Rook. I
throat.
put poker. I don't know why you were so unhappy about poker, but I think
It's
Rook is
just a
a,
deck of cards, man.
So is
Rook
okay.
is a deck of cards, Sam.
Yes, it is, but it's not a deck of cards.
What?
no. He means it's not a traditional deck of cards.
Yes, it is, Sam.
It's not. Z.
Rook is an old classic before they had themed decks.
Yeah, but poker's older.
Yeah, probably. I still think they're both really good choices for card games, and I don't know, but it's almost like an indication of where we had to go to find good games.
Yeah, well, this
know.
was definitly a hard list. I
Yeah.
mean, I had to dig deep.
Yeah.
We're gonna
mean,
get so much garbage. People be like, oh, you didn't list this, and
I
this,
think
and
I
this.
had it set. I think I had it
Well.
set at 100 games per page, and there were 10 pages. So we're talking about 1,000 games
Yes,
that were
yes,
in
yes.
BGG's work.
Well, that had any sort of rankings. I mean, there's
Right.
probably 10,000, but some had
Right.
like 3 people
these
played
were
them.
just ranked. But I mean,
I mean, I'm sure we're going to get garbage about things like chess, Go, all those things, but
Mousetrap.
they have to be games that we enjoy. I don't
They're-
particularly enjoy those games.
they're good games. Okay, we get it, people. Leave us alone. This is a
You're like
different-
preemptively striking. We haven't
This
got
is a
we
different
haven't got the
thing,
comments
okay?
yet.
It's gonna happen. Come on, it happens in every list. Why didn't you include chess?
Actually, I'm waiting for
Well,
the
why
comment
didn't you
of.
include poker?
All right. Let's get to number 3.
Number 3.
All right, my number 3 is... I'm tired of holding up a bunch of cards. What's going on? Can we get back to reviewing games that come in boxes?
Stop picking those stupid card games.
Magic the Gathering, which somebody else put up higher on their list.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Now you know the secret.
My number 3. It's a card game.
Yeah,
This
but
was. There's not much we can say about this game. I think this is the only game that I probably knew had to be on the list. As soon as I was like, okay, 1993 and before, I think this came out in 93 or 92, right?
it was 93.
93.
If we had gone to 92, we would not have been able to put this on the list.
Right. This game is... You might hate it now, you might have played it too much and now are sick of it, you might dislike the system in which it's sold, but you cannot deny that this game is pretty much of a brilliant design.
If I had to pick the top 5, we'll probably do a list someday, but most, in our opinion, the most influential games, Magic the Gathering would be in the top 2 probably.
Oh, yeah.
It's been that influential in gaming as a whole. Yeah, and one of the things about this game, and I know that you want to trash it a little, but one of the things about Magic I think that's pretty impressive.
Pull the drool over here. I'm waiting.
One of the things about Magic is that if you go to game stores now, it is still being played, and it's possible that the player base has even grown over the past several years.
I'm pretty sure.
It's that popular still, and that's... I don't think you can say that about any of the other games on this list with the exception of the one that Sam's about to mention. But other than that...
My game is much more fun.
Trash it. Go. You were going to say?
Okay, look, I get how influential it's been. I get how popular it is and all this other kind of stuff. I get that. I truly do. But there are so many card games that have done so much better, that are so much more fun than this game is. Now, again, they're not 20 years and older. I got it. And so we're specifying the list specifically. I didn't include it because I think the game's just a money sink. That's all it is.
Sure, you're right.
I mean, and you know, kudos to the people who did that. They have a product and they're milking it, and
Yeah.
that's what they should do. I got that. It's just not fun. It's,
Well, I for one,
It's not
I
fun to me.
mentioned all that about the game being very influential. That's all true.
Yeah.
The game's not on my list because it's influential. I was very careful about that. I wanted to make sure the 10 games on my list were games I thought were really fun games. The 10 most fun games I could find. And I like the game because it's fun. Now, I don't play in tournaments because that doesn't look like fun.
right.
Yes.
I
Yes,
don't
yes,
play
yes.
with, people who know what's going to break my deck.
Watch how I can tear your deck
before I
apart
take it
in
out.
4 moves.
Yeah, I don't. I play casually, but I think the game is fun. Hence, it's on my list. So yeah,
That was a box fart, by the way.
I'm kind of. I mean, I'm there with Z. I like playing it controlled. I love how you can buy straight decks now
Yeah.
and just play someone else with the 2 decks of cards. And I do enjoy it. I don't think it's a perfect card game. I think there's flaw, but I do think that they work actively nowadays
Yeah.
to work on those. Anyhow.
Okay.
Now, speaking of money sinks, it's your number 3.
Yes.
Come on now.
I thought you were going to go next.
No, we're doing your money sink
Okay,
too.
that's fine. I don't play this money sink anymore, so it's not a money sink.
Well, go ahead.
But yes, most definitely a money sink. Warhammer 40K. Man, I can't. I still think about the games that I've played, and I still remember details about the games that I played 15 years ago with this game. Now, my main thing here is I like this. This made my list because there's a two-part thing to this game. There's the modeling, the hobby aspect of it, and then there's the actual gameplay. I enjoy both of them. I enjoy the modeling much more.
the 90%, and then they're playing the 10%.
Well, no, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, as far as time is concerned, maybe. You spend more time modeling, painting, putting stuff together, which I had a great time doing that. Just don't have the time for it now. But then the other, I would say probably 40% of the time you're playing the game, because it does take a long time to play a good number of points battle. So yeah, it's a money sink, and this is an older box, but this automatically made my list when we thought about it. Automatically.
I'm not a minis guy, so I have nothing to report here, but I can feel Sam's passion for it, so I think that's a good choice.
And I enjoyed it when I played it, but now I've learned better. I've grown up.
I mean, we were so.
Whoa! Whoa!
Yeah, whatever.
I'll hold him, you punch.
I will.
Okay.
We don't
One of
want the
these
camera
days, there's
running.
gonna actually be a punch on camera.
All right. Man, why do you do that?
That hurt.
I'm sorry, but
Did he hit you?
stop.
Just
You were
watch.
sitting right here. What are you talking about? You're
Go,
next.
go, go. Next. Come on, hurry up. People are gonna.
Okay, no, I'm sorry.
This is why the
Look,
videos are so long.
Yeah, I know. It's just, I mean, we were so addicted to this game, we didn't even have our own terrain. We were playing in our church's family
right.
life center with hymnals as
used
terrain.
hymnals as terrain.
We just stacked them up, and this is a hill, and we stood them up. This is a building. We were so addicted to this game. Had to make my list.
You know, when he says we, he actually is including me. All right. My game is not a money sink. It's Reifenbreiten, although if you try to find it, maybe it is, because it's been out of print. This won the Spiel des Jahres in '92, but it gets like so little love. I think I'm probably like the only reviewer who even talks about it anymore. Yeah. I like this for several reasons. One is it's a bicycle racing race. You roll dice to move the bikes. But what's fun is that you can use cards instead of rolling the dice, which lets you mitigate the luck, but also you can follow somebody else. And you have 4 bikes, not just one.
Right.
So you're racing all 4, so if one of your guys is doing terrible, hopefully your other guy's doing well. And the artwork has that Mad Magazine style art.
That's what I didn't like
Oh,
about
you
it.
don't like that art?
I don't like the artwork. It's just a little bit too goofy for me.
But I think it's a fun, and I really would like to see someone reprint this maybe. Maybe even streamline it a little.
Yeah, a good reprint, a little bit of streamlining would do this game a lot of good. I think it probably has a lot of legs or wheels left in it.
Well, anyway.
I played that Leader 1 game, which is a recent cycling game, and it was a little closer to it followed the realism curve a little too closely. I wasn't that big a fan of that one.
Oh, well, anyway, that's my number 3, Reifenbreiten.
Number 2.
Speaking of racing games, my number 2 is also a racing game, Ave Caesar. This is one of my convention games. I always bring to conventions and we play, and then I think we ran into a situation. Were you playing this game at the Dice Tower convention with me?
No.
Oh,
I was
are you talking about when we
at the
played?
table right next to you.
yeah. Okay. No, listen. This was great because first of all, for the first half of the game, all I did was block Z, which was super fun.
Yeah.
For the second half of the game, we watched in amusement as the very cocky front runner leader teenage boy died just before he crossed the finish line.
That's right.
And it was so sad.
It was so
Yeah,
sad.
that was really believable. It was so sad.
But I love that moment because the whole race, everybody's involved.
Yes.
You're never bored in this game.
Yeah.
You're sitting there going, "Why did you block me?" And you know when you lose turns in this game, which is one of my I think top 10 annoying mechanics.
Yes.
But I don't care in this game because it's so fast. It comes around to you again, right?
Your turn is 5-10 seconds.
You play a card, boom, 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 and it just goes. And it's just really funny to block other people. This is one of the few games where you block people sometimes for no other reason than just to be a jerk.
Because you can, yeah.
Yep. I'll tell you what, this is the one game that I've stood up and walked away from, right in the middle of the game.
Really?
Yep, because Joe Stedman was blocking me for no reason, and he kept doing it. Then I'm done.
Well, I was doing that to you though, wasn't I?
Thank you, Sam, for sharing.
You're welcome.
So anyway, my number 2, Ave Caesar. What's your number 2 there,
All
sir?
right, my number 2 is Liar's Dice.
That says bluff.
This is your copy. Mine says Liar's Dice on it.
Yeah, but does your Liar's Dice go 6 people?
It goes to 4.
That's why I kept this one, because it has 6, and I like that I think 6 is better than
I'm
4.
seeing a lying trend in your games.
Yeah, that's weird. Isn't that strange?
That's true. You're bluffing,
Bluffing and lying.
poker, hoity-toity.
Ooh, how about that? I'm a filthy liar. Anyway, Liar's Dice is a great bluffing game. Roll the dice. Everybody knows how to play, I'm pretty sure. You roll, you look under your cup. There are 4 6s among all of us. The next player either ups that or says there's no way. And you reveal, and the wrong person loses some dice.
This game can be played with a deck of cards as well, by the way.
I guess, but dice are fun. You know, there's no
that.
replacement for rolling dice. And
Yeah, this was in my top 15. This was
the
pretty
game,
close.
I'm pretty sure the game is like much older than these printed ones. But I think when what is it, Richard Borg?
No, I saw him. They played it in Pirates
I
of
think
Caribbean.
when he did it, I think what he did was he added the stars. That's a new thing, and there's a couple of different.
Yeah, that was basically a wild.
Yeah. It's a really fun game. This was my college game, Liar's Dice.
Gotcha.
And
You went to college?
I played it to death. You made that same joke last time I said that.
It's not a joke. No,
He did. He said the same thing. He did.
all right.
College? That's right.
All right, moving on.
All right.
I feel embarrassed. Joke twice.
My number 2 is now. This is the reinstituted version or the rethemed version, the redone version of Fury of Dracula. But Fury of Dracula is much like Scotland Yard. I guess would be another game that's very.
It's like
close.
Scotland Yard with fangs.
Yeah, but
1,
Scotland Yard, I guess, is a little bit more palatable to more people's palates,
More
I
Euro.
guess. But Fury of Dracula just has themes dripping off of it,
yeah.
as far as I'm concerned. And that's why I like this, and that's why this made my list rather than Scotland Yard. Those two were battling out for the...
Oh, yeah. I actually considered Scotland Yard very strongly to put it on my list. It
I
was
thought about it. I wouldn't have put Scotland Yard. Now, I would have put this game on my list. But this game and Arkham Horror, both the versions I've actually played are the revamped, retweaked, and I don't know how much of that has changed.
True.
He is calling
You
suspicion
know what I mean?
on your
So
pick.
Fine.
I've played this one and I've played the new Arkham, but the old ones, 1987
Yeah,
Arkham, and
right.
this is from the 80s
Yeah.
also. Yeah, I don't know how much changed. You
Right.
know what I mean? So I was like, that's not.
But
I
if
really
those
haven't
games had
played-
never been designed, we would never be playing this one.
Right, but I haven't played the one from 20 years ago.
All right, fine.
This is a good call, though. I would have put this would have been in my top 10 if
Really?
if that was like
This isn't
okay.
too long for you?
It's one of the few exceptions to that rule
Oh, okay.
because it has that much theme.
All
You
right.
like Letters from Whitechapel too?
No,
No, really? It's pretty much the same.
it doesn't have.
You don't get the
theme.
fight. You don't get the fight in
Yeah,
Letters
that's true,
Whitechapel.
that's
You
true.
love that
like the
fighting
length
aspect.
without the fun,
part.
you know?
Yeah, I got you.
All
All
right.
right, well, my number 2, Fury of Dracula.
On to number 1.
And finally, number 1.
Right. My number one is a game that I absolutely love. Fortress America from this era.
When did you first play Fortress America? Was it in college? Or did you play it when you were a kid?
It was in college.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was in college.
So it's probably with me then. I mean,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. And I love the idea of it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the
I
idea
love
is
the
awesome.
idea of-
Wolverines!
Yeah, exactly. Just the whole Red Dawn
yes,
aspect. And I don't know, man. I just loved. I mean, being America is hard. It's a difficult thing to do.
Because
But,
everyone's
it's
hurting
also, It's also hard being one of those people, especially if America turns its sights on you and just starts.
That's true. That's what I would always do.
mean, and
Oh,
that's-
you're red? You don't get to play today.
So I mean, that's one of the things I liked about it. You can. There's so many. Each player has to play differently, and that's what I liked about it. And I don't know, the theme knocked it out of the park for me. The value of gameplay just settled it.
By the way, this is a reprint, folks, that's not
Yes.
getting a lot of love. Certainly check it out. They managed to take that gigantic box, and this is the exact same game, basically, with the better miniatures, except they got rid of the hover tanks. Love the hover tanks.
Yeah, the hover tanks were awesome.
How long is this game? Would you say about?
3.
3.
That's pretty good.
I mean,
3 hours.
the problem is I played it so often that I can just play like that now.
Right.
You know, if someone knows what they're doing. It's been a long time since I played with a new person.
Right.
Me and my brother played it so often.
Yeah.
You know, and we just got it down. So that was my number 10, Fortress America. And then, of course, no shock, no surprise. Sam's number 10, but our number 1. I was surprised it was your number 1. I didn't realize you liked it that much. But
Yeah, it's my number 2 game.
I played
I'm pretty
this
sure.
just at the recent Dice Tower convention. Played it 3 times, won twice out of those 3 times. Had a blast every single time.
You need a new box.
You really. You need to.
What do you want me to do?
I don't know.
Buy tape. Invest in tape.
A worn box is a sign of a loved game.
Call,
It's a sign
no,
of
it's a
mistreat
sign of
game.
mistreat and neglect.
Whoa.
You gonna report me to the
No, I'm not gonna do
the
that.
board game
Better
care
Gaming
hotline?
Bureau.
But we might hold an intervention.
The Better Gaming Bureau.
I come in, the lights are turned out. Tom, sit down. We need to talk.
We need to talk about this.
I mean, come on, call Fantasy Flight and ask them. Can I just have a new box, please?
Anyway,
I mean, you're
Cosmic
you're paying me
Encounter.
to talk about this game on every.
They're not paying me to talk about this.
oh, the truth comes out. I
Got 'em.
I actually picked it as number 1. Tom
Okay.
is making my.
Okay.
No,
now look, you put this on your overrated
No,
list.
it's not happening.
and we're
He's
coming
not
back on
getting
that.
Paid for it.
No, you put this on your list as overrated, but you have to admit, when we pull this out in our game group, we never have a bad time with this. It's always hilarious.
Okay, there were some important words in that sentence in our game group.
Yeah.
We have a group of gamers that play this game well, and you can have fun. If you play this with the wrong people, it is so
You must
dry.
have you done that?
Yes.
I mean, that's most games, but you're right that some games are more group dependent. This
my
is
wife,
one of them.
my wife hates this game.
This is one of those games that is.
She's played it a
highly
few times with the
group-dependent.
wrong people, and she's hated those couple of times. And now we can't get her to play it anymore.
I've seen that happen. I think I play with people like, okay, I'm going to attack you. Sam, would you like to help me? And Sam's like, what are you going to offer? Oh, nothing. Okay, never mind. And then it's so mild mannered.
yes.
I'm now going to, a 3 and a 5? Oh, you won. Good job, sir.
Next, hoity-toity.
Guys,
I agree. It's you got to play with the right group, but that notwithstanding, it's a great game. This is 1977 design, and again, it has that same Formula Day thing where you pull it out today and it's like it just came out.
No, I understand.
You know, yeah, I really love this game. I thought you knew that. This is like my number.
well, I know
2
you
game.
liked it a lot. I didn't realize it was.
Both of you got up at the convention when I said it.
That's because you were being a jerk.
This
No.
is my
I
number
was just
2
being real.
game, I think, right now ever. You know,
I was just
Is
raining cold.
number 1 Pandemic? Man, he's never going to do a top 100 because we already know what they all are. All right, but anyway.
top 100 through 3.
One of the things, before we shut this one down, is I really think one of the things I like best about Cosmic is that it's still in print because it's that good of a game. They're still making expansions for it. It's been picked up by many companies, and I know some of you people hate this game, and that's fine, but it's good enough to have lasted over 30 years, which few games have.
It wasn't in print for a while, though, wasn't it?
No, that's true because that's licensing, and who has the license.
Yeah.
I think this game has been printed by It's been printed by Fantasy Flight, by Hasbro, by Games Workshop, by
Eon,
and by Mayfair, and I think there's also one other version out there that I'm not remembering.
Yeah.
The big one was Eon and Mayfair. Okay, anyway, so those are our top old games. Is older better?
No.
No, this was a hard list to put together.
Not
There's a few
always.
gems in here,
Yeah.
but you're good sticking with the last 20 years. There's so many good games coming out every year. There's no reason to
Never feel bad when people are like, oh, you should have played this when you were a kid. No, you're okay.
You're okay.
There's really...
Yeah, I hate that whole older is better, newer is better stigma that people attach to games. You have to take each game as it is. Problem that older games have is that they just didn't have the curb appeal, I guess you could say, that newer games.
Well, they also didn't have the foundation to build on. Like Cosmic Encounter was a cornerstone of many games that came after it.
Yeah.
So they used the ideas from that. And a lot of these newer games, like I mentioned Acquire. Acquire was good, but then these other games took parts of it and made it better.
Right.
I think the problem is there's a lot of games that are coming out that feel like rip-offs, and those games in a vacuum would probably be okay. They're not. There's a lot of other games. Like you said, when this came out, nothing to compare it to.
True.
Well, anyway, that's our top 10 old games.
All right.
Tell us what yours are in the comments. I'm sure someone's going to type out all 3 lists in the comments. So if you're wondering, you say, where's the list of all the games? Well, for one thing, I'm about to show them to you all.
Look down.
But secondly, someone's going to type them out there, and then they're going to get 45 thumbs. Good job, guys. All right. Anyway, until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia.
And I'm Slammin' Sammy.
That's right. We still haven't called them names.
we're gonna go. We're lame again. Deuces.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Vote the vote, baby. Vote the vote. Don't keep the vote voting.